Hey everybody, we are going to read about the 2020 census in this week's News to You. So here we go. 2020 census. The U.S. will have a census in 2020. The United States has a census every 10 years. A census counts every person living in an area. The 2020 census will count every person in the United States. So this is something that the government does so that it knows how many people live in the United States. I have no idea how many live in the United States. So this is hopefully going to give us an idea of what that looks like because I have no idea how many that is. Let's see what this shows us. Sometimes something great, sometimes something not so awesome, right?
Beginning in March, the U.S. Census Bureau will invite households across the country to participate in the 2020 census. But what is the census? Simply put, the census is a head count of every person living in the United States. To be sure the government represents the people, the U.S. Constitution requires a population count every 10 years. Ever since 1790, the census has determined the number of seats each state receives in the U.S. House of Representatives. It is, and always has been, a cornerstone of our democracy. We still use it to determine representation, but leaders also use the data to make decisions. Your response helps guide planning for the future of our communities. The 2020 census will help inform decisions on how billions of dollars are allocated annually for critical public services like roads, schools, hospitals and healthcare clinics, fire and emergency response services, and hundreds of other programs. In 2020, for the first time, you'll be able to complete the census online, by phone, or by mail. It asks a few simple questions, like how many people live in your home on April 1st, including their age and sex, and if there are any children living there. You should know that by law, all census responses are completely confidential, and your personal information cannot be shared with any law enforcement agencies. Every person counts, no matter who you are or where you live. So whether your family has participated for decades or the 2020 census will be your first, we all have a role in shaping the future of our country.
All right, so now we know that it's not just for the amount of people that are in the United States. They need this for bigger government information as well. So the people that are in charge of your house will send that in and send it to the state, talk about how many people live in your house, how many kids live in your house, if they are boys or girls, and how old they are. So all that information is important when we're talking about the census. All right, let's keep reading. A U.S. government group does the census. This group is called the Census Bureau. Be interesting if I could actually talk in here and you could understand what I'm saying. The Census Bureau, seriously. The Census Bureau uses the census to gather information. This information is about people in the United States. The U.S. government uses this information. So notice this flag that we see lots of times on here. What flag is that? Do you know which country that belongs to? It should look familiar. It's the United States flag, right? Nice job. Okay, and then if you see this picture, we see it twice on this page. This is picture for government. So if you're reading along with me, remember that those two the flag is for the United States or US, and then that picture is kind of looks like the government picture. So we will use this flag for this flag for the United States, and this, oh my goodness gracious, you guys, this one for the government. See, it's just like real life. I really mess up on my words when I'm videotaping too. Okay, here we go. The information helps the government make decisions. So some decisions are about money. The government decides how much money to give each state. States use the money to build these things. So we have pictures of schools, hospitals, roads, and more. So this money is going to be important because then they can build more schools. They can give the schools things that they need, as well as hospitals and roads and other things as well. So the information is really important, not just the number of people. So how does the Census Bureau do a census? The Census Bureau sends census forms in March. They will send a form to every home in the United States. Each form has a list of questions. The questions are about people living in the home. One question asks about how many people live in the home. Other questions ask for each person's name, birthday, and age. Everyone must answer the questions for the census. The census is a part of the United States law. Okay, so this isn't something that's just necessarily for fun. It's important. This is something that the government really wants everybody to participate in so that we have a good, clear idea of what is needed in our country and how many people are living here. People can answer the questions by mail, online, or by phone. So in the past, people have only filled out these forms and then mailed it back. So that's been how it's done in the past. So now we can do things online or by phone because those are avenues that we can that we have access to now. So back in the day, we didn't have access to things that were online or using our phones. And now that we can, that's a nice way for it to just get us that information a little quicker, and not so many people need to go through and get all the papers and all the paperwork of that. So it's a little different way to do things, kind of like how we're doing distance learning. Now we have things that we can do online, and we used to do a lot of things with paper and pencils and those types of activities, and now we're finding out that there are different ways to learn, and hopefully we'll still be able to get as much information learned and expressed as we can as when you're at the school in the school day. So workers from the Census Bureau may visit some homes. The workers ask questions. The workers count people living in the homes. I've never had this happen in my house. The U.S. will have a census in 2020. The census will count every person living in the United States. The census will count you, your family, your friends, your teachers, and more. How many people do you think live in the United States? I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Ever since I was little, I've known it's important to count the right number. Like the number of scoops I got on my ice cream cone. Hey, I asked for 5. Or the number of coins in my piggy bank. I remember this one time in class. Our teacher, Mr. Noor, came in with a surprise for us. It was his birthday, so he brought cupcakes for everyone. But there was a problem. He had 15 cupcakes, and there were 20 of us in class. Mr. Noor should have counted more carefully when he was taking attendance. Counting is also really important for the U.S. Census Bureau. In the spring of 2020, it will count every person who lives in the United States. They call this count the 2020 census. It's just like when your teacher takes attendance in class, except it's for the whole country. For the 2020 census, the Census Bureau needs every person to tell the country they are here, in every home, in every neighborhood, in every state, on every U.S. island territory. Everywhere! Tell the adults in your home to make sure they count everyone who lives with you. That includes grandparents, uncles and aunts, cousins, even people who aren't related to you who live with you. Make sure they count every kid, even babies who are 1 day old. Make sure they count you too, but not the cat. It's really important to count everyone. Why? Because a correct count for the 2020 census helps the government figure out what your community needs. That can mean more schools, teachers, classroom computers, or after-school activities and programs. It can also mean more help for things like parks and playgrounds, housing, roads, hospitals, and so much more. The 2020 census starts in the spring, and April 1st is Census Day. Ask your grown-up in your home to circle April 1st on the calendar as a reminder to complete the census. Help us make sure we get the right count. Then we can all celebrate! Tell all of the adults in your home to make sure you're counted in the 2020 census. Learn more at 2020census.gov.
Okay, let's look at, getting some more information about what the Census Bureau is. So it's a U.S. government group. The Census Bureau gathers and shares information. The information is about people in the United States. The Census Bureau started in 1902. Their headquarters is in Suitland, Maryland. And the United States, this is where we live, right? The Census counts every person in the United States. The U.S. has more than 300 million people. These people live in the states across the United States. The U.S. has 50 states, and the U.S. became a country in 1776. Okay, here's a recipe that maybe you could try at your house. You need yogurt and peaches and granola and a measuring cup and 6 clear plastic cups and a tablespoon. I'm assuming that the cups are to, once you make it, you can put it into 6 different cups so that you could help serve 6 people. Putting the yogurt into cup, put the peaches and then the granola on top. So it's going to be like a little parfait. You're going to have yogurt, peaches, granola, and then again, yogurt, peaches, granola, and then you're going to eat it. I wonder if it's good. I like all those things, so I think I would love it. Knock, knock. School. School to be counted. It's cool to be counted. These jokes, you guys. I mean, I think we can come up with something better. Let's see if there's another one. I have a joke. Why was 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9. Get it? Like 7, 8, 9, like the number, but also like 8, like you eat. Hilarious. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is a page that you will be able to see on your app, okay? So you can see this on your app after you listen to the story or listen to the news. And after you do it, then I want you to take a screenshot of it and then you can send it to me. So that way I'll know that you did it, okay? So it should be on your app. If you don't have the app, send me an email, put it in Google Classroom, or let me know, and I will just give you my login, and you can do it on the website. So Abby Newts, I can just send you the login, and you can do this online, and then you should be able to just look at each one, and then it will click on it, so then you'll know which answers are correct. Be kind of cool. I'm not sure if you can screenshot it on your computer, so maybe you just send me a message after that you did it. Is that okay with you? I think that'll work. But I think it'll be neat. My thing for you would just be making sure you can access it, which would be really, really cool. So some of the other kids, if you guys have the apps, then you'll be able to do it, screenshot it, send it to me so I know that you did your work. So I'm not going to tell you the answers right now. All right, let's see what else we have. Again, these WH questions. What's the paper about? Who does the census? Where will the census count every person? What does the Census Bureau gather? What counts every person living in the United States? What does the census want to know about each person? These things, again, on your app, you'll have the questions, screenshot it, send it to me so that I know that you are doing your work. Newtsy, same thing. You should be able to access these. It should be fine. I'm okay with you not screenshotting it. Just let me know that you completed your work, please. Skip it. We don't do this one usually, so we can skip this puzzle page, guys. I'm totally fine with that. Sudoku, Carter, you love this one. You can drag and drop, click them in to where they need to be. Nutsi, you can skip this one because it might be challenging. I don't think that you can drag on your device. I think you can click on them, but I don't think you can drag them. This one I would really like for you guys to click on this one, like Carter, Jackson, Asher, Malachi, Dakota. You guys can click on here and either record your voice or type in your answer and then send it to me. Yes, that would be ideal. Okay. I will talk to you guys soon. Sorry that I was rambling. I finished my coffee. It was delicious and I maybe had a little bit too much, so I was probably talking really fast. So now you feel like it's real life. So read your newspaper, finish the comprehension stuff, send it to me, then we can celebrate. Nice job. I miss you all very, very much. I will talk to you soon. Love ya.